So Ilia Topuria just beat the dog shit out of Max Holloway. Nah, it was kind of sad seeing, Max Holloway get KO'd for the first time. You can count it a TKO, but still he got put away. First time ever. A lot of us thought, his chin would never crack, but I'm going to list three options that I think are the best for Max Holloway's career. So with all these options, they're all going to be at 155. We saw his performance against Justin Gaethje at 155. And his last performance versus Topuria, he performed well before he lost. In my prediction video, I did say that I think, Max Holloway's better at 155. It's not a drastic cut. He looks more healthy, more rejuvenated. He just looks faster and overall a better Max Holloway in my opinion. So I just think it makes a lot of sense for him to go to 155 and stay there for the rest of his career. So the first option for Max Holloway is a fight against the notorious Conor McGregor. And I believe if they put the BMF title on the line, although it's pretty corny, I think it would do a lot of pay-per-view numbers. I mean, Conor McGregor on a pay-per-view either way is going to sell 1 million plus. But I think that fight potentially could do at least maybe 1.5 to 2 million max, which is still great for, a Conor McGregor bout. That's going to make Max Holloway the most money in his career. It's also a very winnable fight. He should win the fight. He just beat Justin Gaethje at 155, so although he did lose to Topuria, he's still sort of in, title contention at 155. And him beating Conor McGregor would definitely get him a title shot. And also, it would be a fun matchup, a rematch. Their styles, colliding is always going to be entertaining. Even Conor McGregor at this stage, I mean, we don't really know where he is right now, but I think he'll show up in decent form. Obviously, he's not the same Conor McGregor we've seen, pre-Mayweather, and it would just do good for Max Holloway's stock. So the second best option for Max Holloway, before I say what it is, I know there's other contenders like Fiziev, Beneil Dariush, Paddy Pimblett, Mateusz Gamrot. There's a lot of guys. The thing is, I feel like Max Holloway needs something to motivate him, and I'm not sure that he would be really, entertained by a Paddy Pimblett or a Gamrot or anyone of that sort. I really don't think he would care for that. Fiziev will be entertaining and it'd be a good fight, but I believe he's going to be fighting Dariush soon. It hasn't been announced yet, but that's likely what's going to happen. So, there's not really a lot of guys available right now. The second best option for Max Holloway going forward is Dustin Poirier. So I know that he's 0-2 versus Dustin Poirier. The reason I say this is because Dustin Poirier recently tweeted that he wants Max or he wants Ilia, which the Ilia doesn't make sense, but he put Max's name in the cap. Why not, avenge his loss? And you could put the BMF title on the line. Pay-per-view headliner, I think, with a good undercard, it could do maybe 650 to 850 max. Which is not a bad pay-per-view because, nowadays, most pay-per-views are doing 350 to 400K. So it's good for the UFC. I think it's good for Max Holloway. He can avenge a loss. Dustin Poirier, although he's at the end of his career, he's still a good fighter. He gave Islam Makhachev a very competitive fight. No one thought he was going to do that. Gave him a competitive fight. He beat Benoit Saint Denis. Dude was actually a fraud, but still a decent win. He finished him. So Dustin Poirier would still be a credible win. And I think that would also, propel him to a title shot. And everyone would love that fight. It'll be another war. Max Holloway at 155 on a full camp, looking healthy. I think he'll give Dustin Poirier a really good fight and arguably beat him. So the third and final best option at the moment for Max Holloway, it has to be Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker doesn't have an opponent right now. Very exciting fighter. There's no one that can say they hate watching Dan Hooker fight. He's ranked top 5, I believe, right now. And it'd be an absolute war that you could put on a co-main event of a pay-per-view card or you could even do a fight night. But it'd probably be a co-main. And it's another fight that you could use that stupid-ass BMF belt for. Dan Hooker, he's a worthy opponent for that belt. Even though, like I said, it's pretty corny. But they could put it on the line. It'd be a great fight. And that also would, propel him to a title shot. Because you got to think about it. If Islam beats Arman, who is left? There is no contenders. Literally no clear-cut contender. You could say Oliveira, but I don't even think, Islam's really entertained by that matchup because he beat, Charles so easily. Even though, a lot of us would want to see the fight, but personally, Islam's probably not going to care about it. He's going to be asked out of an opponent. And like I've been saying, if Shavkat beats Bilal, he really has nobody to fight. There's no one to fight. Maybe Topuria, comes up if he makes a few more defenses, but who knows how long Islam's really gonna fight. So Max Holloway beating Dan Hooker puts him in title contention. And it's a great matchup for Max Holloway. I think Max Holloway would beat Dan Hooker, but Dan Hooker's gonna give him all he can ask for, a very competitive fight. I just hope Max, never entertains 145 again. He has his legacy there. He had his little championship reign. I just think it's unhealthy for him at this point. I saw people, saying that he looked really good at the weigh-ins, which I didn't understand. If you look at him in the weigh-ins, he always looks dead, but I thought he looked very bad. He looked good in the fight, but I just think the cut is unhealthy and he shouldn't make it anymore. He's already 32 years of age. Why kill yourself? Look good at 155. Islam might not be at 155 for much longer, so let's say, Islam leaves. He has a good chance of securing the belt and maybe, making a couple title defenses. Who knows? Besides Max Holloway, I wish Volk would do this as well. Volk should have been at 155 already, just stayed there, but sadly he's probably gonna get KO'd again. Go to 155, might be too late, get KO'd again. I think it's gonna be smart for Max Holloway to stay at 155 and finish his career off there.
Turn it up.
Oh, okay.
That's the max.
It's the max. That's the max.
I put that next to your ear. I got a Draco with 30 quid. Loyalty gang, I'm flooring them. I'm tripping on the low gang shit for hey. The whole gang.
I gotta hop in there. Yeah.